For 3 years, he wrote about ordinary things: coffee in the morning, long shifts at work, arguments with his brother, software updates on his laptop. Then one night, that tone changed. He wrote that someone had logged into his account. Someone had replied to his comment before he did. Some had described his apartment layout without ever visiting. At first, that sounded like identity theft. Then it sounded like something stranger. The final post ended with a sentence that still circulates on the archive forums. If this entry publishes and I didn't write it, then I think I've been replaced. Welcome to Last Seen Online. This is a storytelling channel exploring true stories from the stranger corners of the internet. While digital footprints sometimes outlast people who leave them. In today's episode, it is built from a documented online case where bloggers and forum users claim that identities were being duplicated, manipulated, or overwritten. Some were explained, some were never resolved. This is a story of a blogger who believed he was documenting his own disappearance.
The blog began like thousands of others: minimal design, time-stamped entries, a few regular readers. He wrote about productivity apps, neighborhood observations, and minor tech frustrations. Comment sections were small but consistent, nothing sensational. The archive shows stability, regular posting cadence, normal tone. If you scroll through the early months, there is no hint of what's coming, and that's important. The shift only feels disturbing because the baseline was so normal. The first strange entry appears buried mid-year. He writes that a comment appeared on his post before he approved it. He assumes moderation glitch. Days later, he writes that a draft he hadn't finished had been published automatically. He deletes it. No big announcement, just confusion. In real-world cases, blog platforms have occasionally auto-saved, auto-published, or duplicated drafts due to sync errors. But in his entries, the tone shifts from annoyance to suspicion. He begins tracking timestamps obsessively. Weeks later, readers notice something. Replies under his posts appear in a slightly different tone. Shorter sentences, different punctuation habits. He addresses it directly in a post titled "Voice Drift." He claims someone is accessing his account. He changes passwords, enables two-factor authentication. The activity continues. In documented internet cases, account compromise and sock puppet duplication are common. But here, there is no obvious malicious link, no spam, no ransom attempt, just subtle shifts in voice. That ambiguity makes it heavier. The entries grow darker. He writes that private details, things never mentioned online, are appearing in comments. References to his hallway light, his cracked bathroom mirror, a plant he recently moved. Some of this could be guesswork. Some could be coincidence. In archived forum discussions from similar real-world cases, paranoia often accelerates once personal details are perceived as leaked. The line between platform bug, targeted harassment, and cognitive distortion becomes difficult to separate. His writing begins fragmenting. One of the most circulated entries is titled "Reflection Error." In it, he describes opening his laptop camera and noticing a slight delay between his movement and the image on screen. He claims the delay felt intentional, that it moved before he did. Technically, latency glitches are common. Webcam drivers freeze, buffering stutters, but the way he writes about it shifts the narrative. He begins suggesting that whatever is duplicating his posts may not be limited to text. This is where online communities split. Some readers encourage him to seek help. Others lean into the mystery. He claims to contact the blogging platform. He writes that support responses feel automated, generic, non-committal. In real cases, support tickets often return templated responses unless a clear breach is proven. He posts screenshots of login histories, IP addresses that appear unfamiliar. then later updates that the IP traces back to his own region. The possibility emerges that nothing external is happening at all, that the anomaly is internal, technical, psychological, or both. The final post is timestamped late at night. The tone is calm, almost resigned. He writes that he's scheduling this entry in advance because he no longer trusts whether he's the one publishing. He suggests that if the post appears at a different time than written, it confirms something is wrong. It publishes, exactly on time. Comments flood in, some supportive, some mocking. There is no next post, no update. The account remains online, frozen. No obituary tied to the name, no confirmed identity linked publicly. Just a final sentence that reads like someone trying to anchor themselves. If I stop writing, assume it wasn't my choice. There are rational explanations: account compromise, technical glitch, mental health crisis, performance art. Composite cases across internet history show similar arcs: identity confusion amplified by digital environments. But what makes this story linger is the archive. The posts still exist. The timestamps are still visible. The shift in tone is undeniable. Whether this was paranoia, harassment, or an elaborate self-created narrative, the result is the same: a digital identity that unraveled publicly and then stopped. Last seen online often follows accounts that vanish abruptly. This time, the disappearance wasn't sudden. It was documented step by step until there was nothing left to document.
Before you go, I'm curious, what do you think? Was this a technical issue that spiraled out of control? A case of identity theft, or something happening entirely inside someone's personal perspective? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. I do read them all, and your perspective genuinely shapes future episodes. So if you found this story interesting, consider liking the video. It helps more people discover this series. And if you enjoy exploring the stranger corners of the internet with me, then subscribe so you don't miss the next episode. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.